Hey guys, how's it going? It's Blight back with a follow-up video on the Voiceless Voice deck. As I promised, we're gonna do some test hands today, so let's see what we get. I figured the best way to make to show you how the deck works is by doing test hands, because if I just showed you the one card combos, doesn't really paint the right picture. So let's see what we get and what kind of a board we can make. I'm gonna do a power shuffle just so you know that the cards are randomized and I'm not trying to make them magically good hands for like video purposes. No, we're just doing like real world stuff here. Okay, so I hope I don't knock over my tripod. There we go. So it's the same deck as in my deck list in my previous video. So if you didn't see that video, or if you're interested in the deck list, it should be there somewhere. Let's see what we get. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a really good hand, actually. We have the ritual monsters. You always want to have a way to get to low, and you want to have Skull Guardian. And Saravis is added protection because he can protect your monsters from being targeted by like Imperm or Valor or something like that. And we also have the Prosperity. So I'm just going to do the combo and then use Prosperity, assuming even if my opponent hand traps me, I do have the Saravis, so we're safe from targeting. I'm gonna go ahead and summon Diviner, user effect to send Trias Hierarchia from the deck to the grave. There we go. Just give that a shuffle. Next we're gonna use Hierarchia. It's a quick effect. It tributes a fairy or fairies to special summon itself, and then in the next chain, Diviner of the Herald activates her secret effect, and that is to special summon a level 2 or lower fairy monster from the deck if she has been tributed, which she has for Trias. So we're going to go ahead and bring out Low now, and then activate Low's effect to place a Voiceless Voice spell or trap face up. We're going to be placing Barrier, of course. And then we're going to use Barrier's effect to add Blessing of the Voiceless Voice. And just give that a shuffle. So now, let me try to arrange this. Let's say these are like, this is the leftmost zone, so we have actual zones. I managed to get the playmat. I didn't win it, but I got a good deal on it, so fits perfectly for this video. Okay, so we have the ritual spell, so why don't we go ahead and use it. Just vanilla ritual spell, but you can summon light monsters, and it has an added effect from the graveyard. So we can use Low as the entire tribute to summon out Skull Guardian. And now you want to activate Skull Guardian to search as Chainlink 1, and Low to special summon herself from the grave as Chainlink 2, because usually they're usually gonna try to ash him over this. I mean, you could only use something like Ghost Bell to stop Low, so it's, in my opinion, it's better to make this Chainlink 1 and Chainlink 2, but maybe based on what you're playing against, you can switch up the chain orders. So Low is gonna bring herself back, and then Skull Guardian is gonna search a Voiceless Voice monster. We're gonna be adding Saphira, Queen of the Dragons, in her human form. Next, we're gonna discard Saphira, activate her effect, and that is to send a ritual spell to add a light dragon or warrior monster, ritual monster from the deck to the hand. And we're going to be adding Odd Eyes Pendulum Graph since we already have Saravis in the hand. Next up, I'm going to use, hang on, let me just see what's the best way to do this. Okay, so I'm gonna use Saphira's effect, banishing herself to do a ritual summon, but instead of Low, because we already brought her back from the grave once, we're gonna use Trias and we're gonna summon out Pendulum Graph. You always want to keep Low and Skull Guardian on the field to have the Omni negates, so using Low and leaving Skull Guardian alone is not preferred. Luckily we had the Trias, so we can do like the full combo. We could also extend further by using Blessing and using Low to do another ritual summon, but I prefer to keep things this way. So now I'm going to use the Blessing and add Saphira back to my hand just because we have the option of doing so. We could also add Prayers maybe. Actually, Prayers might be better because Saphira is pretty much dead if we don't bring this back. So we're going to add Prayers back using Blessing. You can add a banished Voiceless Voice card or a Voiceless Voice card in your graveyard, so it's very good for recursion. And then we're going to use Pot of Prosperity because we need some hand traps, you know. So what we're going to be banishing is, let's see. Let's just do 3, I guess. Maybe Lena the Light Charmer, Selene, and Access Code. I guess I could do 6, since we did use the Diviner, but I prefer to keep these for like... okay, let's do 6 just for fun. Let's banish Nightmare Phoenix, because I don't have SP. 1 Dynamondo, and Odd Eyes Winged Dragon, because it's probably the least used one out of the Odd Eyes lineup. Okay, so that's 6. Usually our opponent would not see these, but I'm just showing you for video purposes what my banishing preferences are. Okay, so let's see what we get in these 6. So we have Old Man Saravis, we have another Saphira, another Diviner, Pre-Prep, Saravis, and Ash Blossom. Okay, I think the choice is obvious. We're gonna go with Ash Blossom. I mean, our opponent would know we have Ash, but that doesn't make their life a lot easier, does it? Okay, so Prosperity, and so this is how this is gonna go. We're gonna pass turn, and because we have the Blessing, we can do a ritual summon on our opponent's turn, which is a lot better than the Dynamondo play, which is a lot riskier. And then Low would bring herself back and place the trap, and then we had some even more interruptions. So basically what we have here, we have a spell negate with Pendulum Graph. He would negate a spell, place himself in the Pendulum Zone, and then summon a Odd Eyes monster. So if you're playing against Tempai and you summon Meteor Burst, it's pretty much game, because this doesn't allow them to use anything in the battle phase. So yeah, you may sometimes want to keep him on the field a little bit longer if you want the maximum number of pops from the Voiceless Voice trap, but depends on the situation. You have an Omni negate with Skull Guardian, and you can do a ritual summon. You could place the trap, which then allows you to pop cards, and you could also ritual summon Saravis by using Blessing of the Voiceless Voice, which gives you a inherent summon negate, sort of like a Solemn Warning. So yeah, not bad for hand number 1. Let's do another one and see if it's any different. This was like probably the best hand you could wish for. Maybe if I had something like Called by the Grave, so that it guarantees my combos go through uninterrupted, but one of the better hands that you can expect in this deck. Okay, so let's do another power shuffle real quick and bring our random number generator back online. Sorry about the background noise. Some doggies are angry at each other outside my building. Maybe just do a shuffle like this, as not to waste too much time. Not as good as the power shuffle, but it'll do the trick. Okay, so our next hand, we have Kashtira Fenrir, Saravis, Pot of Prosperity, Blessing, and Skull Guardian. Again, a pretty decent hand. Okay, I'm gonna show you how we can do this. Let's see. We can activate Blessing of the Voiceless Voice because not counting something we could draw of prosperity, I mean add, this is our only way of ritual summoning, and we really want to ritual summon. So we're gonna special summon Kashtira Fenrir, and then this is gonna trigger Blessing. Blessing triggers anytime any kind of monster is summoned. So with normal or special summon, doesn't matter if it's you or your opponent, you can do a ritual summon. So then we're gonna use Saravis as the tribute and ritual summon Skull Guardian, and then Skull Guardian's effect activates, and this is gonna allow us to add low. This is a bit weaker than the first hand because now Skull Guardian doesn't really have any protection. We use the Saravis, so the targeting protection is gone, and he doesn't have his Omni Negate unless low is on the field. So he is quite vulnerable now, but that's all about the change. We're gonna normal summon low, activate her effect to place a Voiceless Voice barrier, and then we're gonna use barrier to add a Saphira. And while we're at it, we're gonna use Kashtira Fenrir to add a copy of himself. I really like Fenrir in this deck. I have been experimenting replacing him with Veiler, but I prefer Fenrir. A body on the field that's able to just search a copy of itself, pretty useful. Then we're gonna go ahead and use Saphira's effect. We're going to dump a ritual spell, and then we're gonna add Pendulum Graph. Next, we're going to use Saphira's effect to banish herself from the graveyard and use low as the entire tribute to ritual summon Pendulum Graph, and then low's effect triggers to special summon herself back. And last but not least, we're going to use Pot of Prosperity. Again, I'm going to go with 6. Just use the same 6 as I did before. This would usually be an SP Little Knight if I had one, but you know, price tags. So there's a 6. Let's see if we can grab ourselves some hand traps. We got Trias, Pre-Prep, Ash Blossom, Saravis, Low, Ash Blossom. Okay, so what we're gonna do is obviously again add the Ash Blossom, put these on the bottom of the deck. And then last but not least, we're going to use Blessing of the Voiceless Voice to add back Saravis. So, what do we have here? We have an Omni Negate. We have Kashtira Fenrir, so this is going to banish something face down. We have a Spell Negate that summons a monster and can potentially wreck Tempai with Meteor Burst. We have a way to ritual summon Saravis and trigger low again, which would then place the trap, giving us even more interruptions, or we could use the Saravis to protect one of our monsters from being targeted. But since we already have Barrier, which is targeting protection for light monsters, usually in this situation you want to use Saravis. You want to ritual summon Saravis to get low, get the trap, and have an inherent summon negate. We also have Ash Blossom and Kashtira Fenrir for some follow-up. So pretty good hands. This deck is pretty consistent. It's weak to Shifter, obviously, but still you can make some plays even then. So yeah, been enjoying this deck for quite a while now. I'm hoping it doesn't get hit on the ban list. I don't think it deserves it. It's not really like a top tier deck. It is a meta contender, but probably something like a Rogue maybe. I don't know. I don't know all of these labels or how they work. So here's hoping Voiceless Voice doesn't get hit, and hopefully we get more cards, maybe like a second normal summon or a new ritual monster. That'd be awesome. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for more deck profiles and test hands and whatnot. Bye bye.